Welcome to Evolving Into Her. I'm Ashley Hope, and this is your weekly check-in to get out of your head, into your body, and back into alignment with the version of you who's already living the vision. So grab your favorite cup of tea, settle in, and let's get into the show. Hey girl, hey, welcome back to Evolving Into Her. This is your host, Ashley Hope, and per usual, I'm just so grateful you're here. I'm so grateful you pressed play, friend, okay? And there will probably never be an episode where you don't hear me express my gratitude. Like, I don't take any of this for granted, and I'm huge on gratitude, so you will hear it every single week, okay? But before we get into this episode, I just want to pause and say thank you. Every DM, every share, every message, it really lets me know this podcast is touching your life. Again, I don't take this lightly. You could be listening to anyone right now, but you chose to spend your time with me. Some of y'all take me on your walks. Like, what? That means so much to me. Okay. So if this podcast has been pouring into you, I would love it if you took a few minutes to leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. You know the deal. It helps me reach more women, more sisters, more women who need this exact message. And because I always believe in reciprocity, I've got a gift for you, friend. So when you leave your review, take a screenshot and email it to me at hello@ashleyhope.co with the word review in the subject line. And I'll send you something very, very special. Okay. It's called the Soft Life Subliminal. And this track was designed to help you gently reprogram your subconscious, to soften your nervous system, to shift your self-talk. Okay, we all can use help with that. And to really help you open up to the favor and the ease and the abundance that you were created for. And this is just my way of saying thank you for pouring back into me as I pour into you. So let's get into today's conversation. The title alone says so much. Because, yeah, why not you, sis? And I want you to sit with that question for a second, and not in a surface level, motivational kind of way. Really let it land, really let it resonate. Why not you? And I say this all the time because I truly live by it. I don't feel like there's anything I can't have, be, do, or create. And not in an arrogant way, not in a entitled way. There's just simply this posture I have chosen to take with my life. And I want to invite you to try on that mindset for yourself. Just try it on, see how it feels, and just lean into the possibility that the dreams tugging on you aren't out of reach. And to ask, why not me? There's no harm in asking, why not me? And then be open to seeing what unfolds. Okay, sis, get comfy. Grab your tea, your matcha, your coffee, whatever you're drinking on, whatever you're sipping on, and let's get into the show. So with topics like these, I'm always like, okay, where do I start? And I think this is a good place to do that. Rewriting the story we've been told. So most of us didn't grow up knowing we could have it all or being told that we could have it all. A lot of us were raised in homes or environments that taught us to survive, that taught us not to dream. And survival doesn't have a lot of room for vision. Okay. So just think about it. Like, how many times did you hear things like, don't get your hopes up, or that's not realistic, or stay humble? Or maybe your parents inadvertently compared you to someone else, like your siblings or your cousins or their friends' kids. And you internalize that as, okay, so maybe I'm not the one. Maybe it's not me. And sometimes it wasn't even words. It was watching the women around you, watching your mom work so much, never really resting, never really enjoying herself, watching your grandma stay in survival mode most of her life, shrinking her dreams just to make ends meet. And that could leave you thinking, well, if she couldn't have it, why would I be able to? And those moments, those quiet messages, they planted seeds, and those seeds grew into a story. And this is a story you keep replaying, a story about who you think you are and what you think is possible for you. And the thing about stories is that once they're planted, your mind will rehearse them on repeat. So when an opportunity comes, your first thought isn't excitement. It might be hesitation. It might be fear. It's doubt. It's that little voice saying, oh no, this is not right for me. I need to stay in my lane. Don't even try. You're going to be disappointed. But sis, I need you to hear me clearly, okay? Just because that's the story you were handed doesn't mean that's the story you have to keep telling. That's not the story you have to keep replaying. Those storylines, those scripts, they can be rewritten. Okay. So think about your phone. You know, when you've got an old playlist that doesn't even fit you anymore, doesn't really resonate anymore. The songs don't hit the same. The vibe, the energy is just off. What do? You delete it. You make a new one. You fill it with songs that match where you are right now, not where you used to be. And that's exactly what you can do with the story you've been living in. And this is where the question comes in. Why not me? And it sounds simple, but it is disruptive. It's the way you interrupt that old, tired, dusty, played out soundtrack, okay? And every time that voice rises up and says, you can't do that. You're not enough for that. You don't deserve that. Bro, you get to respond, okay, but why not me? Because sis, what if the opposite is true? What if you really are that one? What if you really are the one? What if you are the woman who's supposed to live that dream? What if you are the woman who's supposed to walk through that door, who's supposed to experience that kind of love, that kind of freedom, that kind of abundance? And I want you to pause right here and really bring to mind the area of your life where you've been doubting yourself. Maybe it's love, maybe it's business, maybe it's your health or your finances or your calling. Whatever it is, hold that in your heart for a second. And I want you to whisper it softly to yourself, why not me? And just let that question wash over you, because in that moment, you're not just saying random words. You're opening up a door. You're giving yourself and your spirit room to stretch. And you're telling God, I'm ready to see what you already had planned for me. And baby, that is the shift. That's how the story begins to change. And so let me bring this closer to home, okay? So for a long time, I didn't know if the kind of love I desired and deserved was possible for me. And so I would see people on TV. I would see women around me in real life being loved out loud, being doted on, being cared for, protected, adored. And while I wanted that, I can't lie, there was always this little voice in the back of my head saying, maybe that's not for me. And truthfully, I hadn't experienced it yet. I hadn't experienced the kind of secure love where you can exhale, where you feel chosen every single day, where you feel safe enough to lean all the way in. And when you've never had something, it's easy to start believing it doesn't exist for you. That's natural and normal. But one day I caught myself in the middle of that thinking, that stinking thinking. And I was like, no, why not me? Why wouldn't I be worthy of that kind of love? If God created it, if he allows people to experience it, then why wouldn't he allow me to experience it too? It just seems like a given to me. And since the moment I shifted my mind, my posture shifted too. And I started carrying myself differently. I opened myself up to the possibility that what I desired was real and that it was already on its way to me. And then I met my husband, and the love I have with him is exactly the kind of love I once questioned, that I once doubted, that I once wondered if it was for me. This love is tender. It's adoring. It is filled with service. That man serves me every single day. It is filled with joy, with protection. It's fun and it's grounding all at the same time. And I think back sometimes and I wonder, like, what if I had stayed in that doubt? What if I settled for less just because I thought it wasn't possible? What if I told myself, you know what, that's for other women, maybe not for me. Let me just take whatever I could get. And I could have missed out on something that is now one of the most greatest blessings in my life. So sis, let my story be your evidence, and not proof that your love story will look exactly like mine, because it won't, but evidence that what you desire exists. Okay? What you desire exists and that you are worthy of it. And so I want you to think about the kind of love you desire. And maybe it's partnership that feels safe. Maybe it's someone who sees you fully, who delights in you, who makes you laugh until your stomach hurts. Maybe it's a love that feels like home. Whatever it is, I want you to whisper that question over it. Why not me? Okay? Because the truth is, if it exists for you too. And another great example I have is with my business. And I'm going to be honest with you. I never wanted to run a business. I was never impressed with the whole girl boss era. That was not on my vision board. I wasn't the girl saying one day I'm going to be an entrepreneur. No, ma'am. Okay. If anything, I looked at other people, with businesses and I would think, you know what? That looks stressful, and if they don't work, they don't get paid. And it looked like long hours, no peace, always chasing the next thing. And I was like, you know what? No, thank you. Okay. But then life opened the door. And even though I didn't feel ready, I walked through it. Okay. And what I found on the other side was completely different from what I imagined. My business has actually felt easeful. It has felt aligned. I've been able to build it in a way that honors me, in a way that feels feminine and soft and spirit led. I don't run my business from a place of grind and force. I've let it be something that flows with me. And you know what? It even works with my neurospiciness. Okay. As someone who experiences ADHD, the thought of building a business in that old, rigid, hustly way would have drained me. Okay. I probably would have been done by year one. But the way I built mine, it accommodates me and it allows space for how my brain works. And I get to lean into my creativity. I get to follow inspiration. And still, I've built something that not only fills me up, but also pays me really well. I made multiple 6-figure years really doing the work that I actually love, that is fulfilling, that pours into the collective. And the most beautiful part is how this business has allowed me to impact lives. Women tell me all the time, Ashley, you've helped me through some of my hardest seasons. The way you poured into me has made me a better mother, a better partner, a better woman. And so many messages over the years. And every time I hear that, I think back to the girl who once said, "Ooh, girl, a business, not me, girl." Like, imagine if we had not done this, if we had not stepped through that door. Imagine if I didn't say, "Why not me?" So when I sit here today, it's just another reminder of this heart posture that I live by. Why not me? Because if I had kept believing that business wasn't for me, I would have missed out on one of the most fulfilling parts of my life. And I want you to sit with that for yourself, whatever it is, whatever you've been talking yourself out of, whatever looks too big, too stressful, too complicated. I want you to ask yourself, why not me? And I can give you so many more examples in my life of where I've asked, why not me? And then walked through that door. Okay. But I think you get the picture. But what I want to talk about next is what happens when you say yes. And here's what I've noticed. The moment you start moving with the posture of why not me, everything around you shifts. Your energy shifts first. You start walking different. You show up different. You're speaking different. People can feel that. Okay. Opportunities can feel that. And it's not even that you're forcing things to happen. It's that you start carrying yourself like somebody who's open, somebody who expects good things. And when you move like that, when you do that, the right doors start opening. Hence, right. The right doors start opening. Aligned doors start opening. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's always comfortable, because the truth is, when you step into something new, your nervous system will fight you. It will fight you, okay? Your brain is wired to keep you safe, not to push you into the unknown. So, of course, the thoughts are going to come up. What if I fail? What if I made the wrong decision? What if people laugh at me? What if people judge me? What if I'm not ready? All the things, okay? But hear me on this. That resistance is not a stop sign. It is not a sign for you to stop. It's not a sign for you to turn around. That fear, that discomfort, that little knot in your stomach, it's proof that you're growing, sis. It's the same way your body feels sore after a workout. That soreness doesn't mean you shouldn't have exercised. It doesn't mean you shouldn't have gone to the gym. It doesn't mean you shouldn't have had a leg day. It means your muscles are expanding and growing. And that little flutter of fear that you're feeling, it means that your spirit is expanding and growing. Okay. And I can think back to so many moments where I said yes before I felt ready. Yes to opportunities I didn't think I was qualified for. Yes to things that stretched me. Yes to things that I didn't even see coming. And baby, every single time I came out on the other side realizing, oh, I was ready all along. And that's the thing about saying yes. It reveals the strength you already had. It shows you really the favor that was already waiting on you, but you don't see it fully until you step, girl. You've got to step. So sis, I want you to think about the thing you've been hesitating on, the thing you keep circling around, ruminating over, overthinking, the thing you've been waiting for the perfect moment to go after. What would it look like if you just said yes? And not because you had all the answers, but because you trust the process, because you trust yourself, because you trust God. And what if you let yourself believe, even just for a week? I'm not saying you have to carry this posture for a lifetime, but what about the next 7 days? What if you let yourself believe that you're more than ready? Because that's what happens when you start saying yes. You realize the version of you you've been waiting on, she's already here and she's been waiting on you. Okay. So let's bring this down into your everyday life for a second, because I love to make things practical. I love to make things real, tangible. It's one thing to hear me say, why not me on this podcast? And it's another thing to actually live it out when the doubt starts creeping back in. And so here's what I want you to do. Pick one area of your life, the one that's been maybe sitting heavy on you. Maybe it's love, maybe it's business, maybe it's your health, maybe it's community and friendships, maybe it's believing you're worthy of peace, whatever it is. I want you to write it down. You got to name it. And then every single time you catch yourself thinking, you know what, that's not for me, or I don't see how that could happen, I want you to gently interrupt yourself and ask, but why not me? And you don't have to have the whole plan mapped out. You don't have to see every step. Just start with the question, why not me? And if you're a journaling girly, which most of you are, write that at the top of a page and just let yourself free write under it. So at the top of the page, write, why not me? And then let your inner knowing, let the Holy Spirit, let your intuition just guide your writing on the pages, and whatever comes out, let it come out. So don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about if it makes sense. Just allow yourself to write. Okay. And if you're a visual type, put it on a sticky note on your mirror so you see it when you wake up in the morning. And as you're brushing your teeth, as you're combing your hair, as you're doing your makeup, you have this reminder asking, why not me? And if you need it in your ear, you can just replay this podcast. Just kidding. But you can say it out loud when you're driving or when you're cooking dinner or when you have some alone time. Why not me? And it doesn't have to be complicated. This is about rewiring those old thoughts and teaching your mind a new story. And let me say this too, give yourself some grace. Don't rush it. Sometimes it takes a minute for your body and your spirit to catch up to the new belief. That doesn't mean it's not working. That doesn't mean you just give up. It means you're growing into it. So this week, I want you to play around with it. Have some fun with it. Okay. Don't take it too seriously. And every time that old story shows up, replace it with, why not me? And sis, let that be your gentle comeback. Okay. Let it be your reminder. And then I want you to start noticing how you feel when you say it. Notice the shift in your body. Notice the shift in your energy, because that shift, that is the beginning of the new story. Okay. So we've been talking a lot about mindset today, rewriting old stories, asking different questions, opening yourself up to the possibility. And I don't just want this to stay in your pretty little head, friend. Okay. I want you to really feel this in your body, because it's one thing to think, why not me? But it's another thing to let that truth land in your spirit, to really feel it, to experience that. So let's take a pause together and let's drop out of the mind, out of the overthinking, and ease into the body. this is a moment for her. If you're able, close your eyes or just soften your gaze and just be present with me. And take a slow, deep breath in through your nose and just let it out through your mouth. Good, and let's do that again. Inhale, possibility. And exhale, doubt. Inhale, expansion. And exhale, fear. And now I invite you to place one hand on your heart and just feel the rhythm of your heartbeat, the gentle pumps. Baby, that is your reminder that you are alive. Okay, that is your reminder that you are chosen. You are already enough. And with your hand on your heart, you can whisper softly to yourself, I am worthy. I am capable. I am chosen. There is no reason it cannot be me. And as you breathe, picture yourself as the woman who already said yes. See her walking through doors with ease. See her smiling at the life she once thought was too big. And feel her peace. Feel her joy, her confidence. And then I want you to realize that that woman is you. Not someday, but right now. And friend, take one more deep breath in. Breathe in possibility. And let go of every single doubt on the exhale. Sis, I want you to save this episode and come back to it whenever you need a reset, whenever you need a reminder, because the question isn't why you. The real question is why not you? And sister, before you go, don't forget, if this podcast has been blessing you, if it's been pouring into you, please take a moment to leave me a written review on Apple Podcasts. And then you can screenshot it, send it to me at hello@ashleyhope.co with review in the subject line. And I'll send you my Soft Life Frequency Subliminal. And this is just a thank you gift to you. And it's a powerful way to keep reprogramming your mind for ease, for softness, for overflow. And sis, take this with you. You are not the exception. You are the evidence. Your very presence is the reminder that no thing is too big for you. So the next time that little voice tries to whisper, why you? I want you to smile, stand a little taller, okay? And say it back with your whole chest, why not me? And until next time, I love you, sis. I am proud of you, and stay devoted to your becoming. I'll see you next Tuesday. I'm Ashley Hope, and you've been listening to Evolving Into Her. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you for choosing her, for choosing yourself. And until next time, stay in devotion to your becoming.